The United States Mint started making proof sets in the year 1950. Now, due to the way they packaged them at that time, fast forward to current year, it is very hard to find high grades for those coins. I'm going to tell you all about it. But the biggest coin in that proof set was the Franklin half dollar. And I have a couple of high grade 68s that are very, very difficult to find nowadays. I mentioned 1950 is when they started making proof sets. They started putting Franklin half dollar proofs out in that year as well. There were 14 proofs altogether in the Franklin half dollar series. But back in those days, the proof sets were in a poly pack. They moved around inside this plastic cellophane type of packaging. That cellophane was inside of an envelope. Our current modern proof sets are hard plastic lens. So the coin isn't able to move around. It's very protected inside that lens. So when we look at these older issue proofs that were packaged in a way that did not preserve them for high grading later on in life, we find that they are very, very rare. And the reason why we know that, of course, is by looking at NGC's population reports. And that report will tell us how many are in this high grade of 68 in this case. So for these two dates, 1959 and 1960, we're looking at a total mintage figure of 1.1 million on 1959 and 1.6 million on 1960. If you go and look at the reports, and you'll find no 70s exist, there are no perfect coins for these two particular dates. And 69 grades, very, very hard to find. Needle in a haystack and very, very pricey. Let's talk about 67s first, because I'm going to save the stunning number for last. In 67 grade or better for 1959, at a 1.1 million proof sets, there were only 25,267. That's it. In 68, just 8,300. So for that date, 1959, there are only 8,300 coins in 68 grade or better, and in fact, 1,000 of those are the 9s. So talk about a rarity. It is a very, very small percentage. You're looking at less than 1% known, less than 0.75% actually known in 68 grade or higher. Look at that price, $69.95. For a coin that are only 8,300 out there in the world. Our competition wants $179.95 for that one. Now 1960 is just as impressive, a tiny, tiny bit rarer, although they did make more coins that year. 1.6 million proof sets were made in 1960. In grade 67 or higher, there are a little more, 27,292. In 68 or higher, 8,900. Only 8,900 are known, and 1,035 of those are 69. So the numbers prove how special these two are, and the prices, you can't beat it. $69.95 each. I referenced our competitions at $179.95 for the 1959 and close to that price for the 1960. So join us, folks, and save. These are those silvers, those 90% silvers that were put into proof sets in these dates. There are only 14 altogether in the Franklin half dollar series. It was a very short series, only 16 years, the shortest lived half dollar series in the 20th century. And tonight in high grade 68 at a fabulous, unbeatable price with a your choice, meaning join us with either date. If you have one, grab the other. If you want to just grab one. The percentages on these are so similar that you really can't lose on just a random choice. Grab 59 or 60, you gotta keep her. So give us a call, folks. Number's 866-518-5933. And of course, we're always available for ordering online via the web. That's avccoins.com. On that 1959, all you'll have to do is search 905-6447 into the search bar. And 1960 is 905-6441. It'll bring you right to those pages respectively. Add it to your cart, process that checkout, and you are good to go. Now don't forget, in the 1980s, before grading, NGC started in the mid to late 80s, before they opened their doors, silver went through the roof, right? It went to $50 an ounce, and people were melting anything they could find in silver including proofs, because they were melting for about $20 a piece. They melted culls, uncirculated coins, even these proofs, to turn them in for cash. NGC started grading after that in 1987. So these coins were not made to be graded, right? They were just made for collectors. Proof sets were a very prestigious set made just for collectors. And the series was decimated largely by that silver rush when people were melting silver like crazy. And then NGC starts grading, and fast forward half a century, 3/4 of a century later, we have these numbers that prove to us that high grades just aren't out there. It's a very, very, very special coin. So join us, folks. 90% silver proofs. Don't forget that proof is a method of manufacture. Uncirculated coins are struck once, put through circulation. Proofs are struck twice under highly polished dies, on highly polished dies under an enormous amount of pressure to give them that mirror-like background. You can almost see yourself in it as you tilt the coin up and down, side to side. In fact, if you have a red shirt on, like I do, as you look at the coin, you'll see that red reflection. It's absolutely stunning. And these coins look like they were made just yesterday. And you're looking at 1959, 1960 for a great low price, $69.95 each, not $180 each. $69.95. What a fantastic savings. The time to join is now. You're talking about practically a vintage coin at this point. And the Franklin half dollar C is very, very interesting. First coin to feature a non-United States president on a coin, half dollar. Because prior to that, we had Lincoln on the cent, Jefferson on the nickel, Roosevelt on the dime, and Washington on the quarter. So it was a big event to have the first coin ever to feature a non-US president, our first firefighter, and our founding father. So popular that in 2006, if you recall, if you follow the Modern Issue commemoratives, they brought out a very special coin in 2006 commemorating Franklin, the founding father, the scientist. Incredible. Folks, we do have to put that 30-second clock up at this point. Proofs, 90% silver proofs from the proof set that was made for a collector, not made to grade. So looking at the numbers, the population's only 8,300 known for 1959 and 68 or better, only 8,900 known to exist on 1960, 8,900 and 68 or better at a fantastic price of $69.95. Our competition's at $180. Folks, you got to join us on this one. And in the meantime, we have to be moving on.